Ladies and gentlemen, we finally have our first ascended dragon, the one and only Veldora. It has been so long since we got a dragon character in Grand Summoners. Like, literally, look at this list. Are we serious right now? That I was almost certain GS as a dev team just forgot they were even in the game. But they didn't, and they gave us Veldora, which is actually a pretty compy character. Of course, though, I'm going to show you everything he can do, some of the cool tech he has, along with some team builds, best in slot items, all that type of stuff. Let's talk about his passive first, because it is really good, but it just doesn't come up too often, and that's going to be Storm Dragon. Storm Dragon gives 100 arc gauge, and everybody gets a instant 100% HP heal if he hits near death. He also has damage boost level 2. This is a very strong passive to have for any kind of damage dealer or damage dealer hybrid. And with that passive, you can kind of imagine he is a bit of a damage dealer. His art is able to give him self-sufficient arc gauge because he has none in his kit, but it's 7 arts for 60 seconds and it's very easy to be able to activate this. His true art is able to buff up everyone's attack by 200% and earth allies will not flinch. You see the synergy here with his passive in this. And then his super art gives everybody defense ignore and you buff up everyone's damage, well, humans, demons, and dragons damage by 200%. So Veldora's entire game plan most of the time is getting into that art, instantly art stritting for 60 seconds, being able to use that true art to get that huge attack buff, and then going in to the super art to also be able to deal crazy amounts of deeps. In terms of his equip slots, we have 5-star magic, 5-star defense, and a 4-star physical. Now when it comes to business slot items here, I am highly recommending you guys pick up this man's true weapon. This gives Veldora a passive 50% attack buff, and it also auto-fills his own arc gauge by 1. If you don't want to use that for whatever reason, I would highly recommend using anything that's going to be buffing up his arc gauge or just buffing up his overall attack. In terms of 5-star defense, you could really rock out with anything that is countering the boss you're fighting. But if you want something very specific for Veldora, there's a few items, but they are kind of exclusive depending on when you start playing the game. One is going to be the Holy Armor. The Holy Armor converts 30% of your defense into attack, which is going to synergize, of course, with Veldora wanting as much attack as possible. But hey, if you just want some arching items in this slot, Black Shrike, by all means, just use that. And last but not least, we have the 4-star physical, which in sustain, you're going with B3 Clawman. If you are going in more of a nuking setting, using something like the Malim 4-star could be really good because it's a 20% attack buff instantly for you. When it comes to the crest slots on Veldora, if you can't tell already, we are loading up on attack. So attack up has to be one of them. The other one that I would highly recommend is arc gauge up. Since he doesn't really have any kind of arch training in the kit by default, having that arc gauge up is critical for his gameplay. Now let's look at his animations, and I really want to show you guys his animations for a few reasons. Not only to rate them and, just give them an overall score, see how we feeling about them, but also to show you a very cool interaction that he has with one of his animations. So we have his attack skill here, which is just going to be his regular little punches. His skill, which only does damage, by the way. The art is going to be what's giving you the arc gauge. It's very fast. It's just a roundhouse kick into this uppercut. We have the true art, which is, I think, just a blast in front of him. Yeah, just an instant boom. The super art is going to be where he turned into a dragon. Now, one thing you may have noticed was he actually disappeared whenever he became a dragon. You see, he goes completely off screen, and also this looks a bit better in gameplay because the dragon kind of comes out more. It's not just on the edge up here. The super art, whenever he uses this, and you see how he fades off the screen, if Veldora gets frozen, paralyzed, fainted, anything like that, this animation still plays and it will still do damage if the boss allows the damage to happen. For an example, you know how some bosses, they'll feint you at a certain threshold, and even if you are able to get off any kind of damage after that feint, they'll just hit for once. So it doesn't bypass like that, like the damage threshold mechanic, but this does bypass just stats effects in general. Let's say you're fighting Holy Knight Roy. Well, you pop this super art. He got frozen while he's in the middle of this super art. It still plays and it still does damage. Overall, though, I really like Veldora's animations. I think that, they're not anything too crazy. The art being this roundhouse kick to like this rising uppercut, I love that. The true art being this little beam, I think is probably his weakest attack, but you got to give it credit, man. This super art just turning into his dragon form and then him just breathing down fire everywhere, and then it kind of like erupts. You see it like get more and more crazy and just erupts on the whole screen. I like it. I personally feel like Veldora as like character design and animations and even like his sprite work, just 8.5, man. 8.5. Also, this man is tall. Like, look at this. Like, this motherfucker is tall. He's bigger than Kirisame. Like, look how short Emperor is compared to this man. Veldora's whole appeal is the fact that he is a very unique race type. He's a dragon, and dragons don't get countered because there's no dragons in the game. I promise you, even after this, they're not gonna balance the game around like, oh, they have Veldora, we can counter dragons now. No, they're not gonna do that because there's only one viable dragon in the game, and it's only Veldora. So one thing I'm gonna show you right now is combining two defense items that are insanely powerful against Darklight Dragon, who is a magic damage boss. Fate Defense Equip and the Veldora Gloves. These have the exact same clause in their text. It says that they give 45% DR if you are that respective race. And as you'll see, it does actually stack with each other. Look, that is 2 magic res on our characters at the moment. How crazy is that? Well, this is a magic damage boss, and you'll see that in just a second once we actually have our barriers up, which we're going to need to put one up right here before our entire team gets clapped off, that having this additional magic res is insane for your team. We're going to see Veldora's damage right here as well. You'll see that big damage. Oh yeah, look at that, man. And look at this. Look at the deeps that he's doing to Kirisame. It doesn't even matter. His barrier didn't even move. Also, if you ever want to know when this man Veldora loses his attack buff on his true art, just pay attention to this right here. Purple shield symbol, his will not flinch buff and his attack buff are on the same timer. So whenever you don't see that, you know for a fact that you can use that true art and you're good to go. You see, we're at the next threshold right here. Only thing we're going to be doing is trying our best to not get too clapped off, and we are hopefully going to be able to get Kirisame into his super art before anything bad happens, which we should be doing that right now. Look at this. Look, we're going to cleanse some DRs right now. We're going to pop off with all these DR buffs, and we should barely even take damage. As you see, the bar on his shield is not going down whatsoever. We're going to pop with the art here just to make sure that we do refresh that art gen. And what we need to do now is poison this man as soon as they get out of this little attack, which we are going to be able to do, hopefully. And we are going to try to kill right here, right now with Veldora if we can. Now, Veldora is magic damage, so he doesn't benefit from having, you know, all of this physical res down and everything on the character. As you see, we are actually... Oh, no, we're not poison anymore. Come on, poison. Thank you, big poison. We are dealing quite a bit of damage here, but I don't know if... Okay, he's going to be able to finish it. There we go. Look at that. And that was extremely simple, extremely easy. Veldora didn't really add too much to the team apart from giving the team defense ignore because this boss cannot be critted. Also, the damage buff as well. The only person that didn't receive the damage buff was actually Star God Lisa because she's a god. Damage charts, Veldora hitting the hardest at 22 million. And Veldora actually healing the most on the team because his passive did proc. He got near death and he healed everyone up to max HP. Let me show you that tech though that I was talking about with Veldora. As always, same exact philosophy here, right? We're popping off with the art, getting the art gen going. Once we have the art gauge going, we're going to be using that super art, or not super art, my bad, the true art to get the attack buff to everyone. And then we're going to start using our super art with Veldora and trying to knock this man off his feet. One thing that I didn't notice is that it is kind of bad whenever you're using grief in the situation because Veldora can accidentally pop his passive and you could pop it prematurely where you're not ready to get that instant heal, right? That is something to consider. Maybe I need to take off grief or just not value it as much on him. As you see right here, we're dealing crazy deeps. We have tons of damage up from this man, Shiro, plus we have damage up from Veldora too, so yeah, the deeps are definitely coming in, man. Also with this additional defense slot, it makes this fight like so much easier, bro. You could get this exact same setup like if you used Reyes, of course, but you know, something to take note of that it is extremely easy when you're doing this. I really want to show off that freeze. I don't know if we're going to actually get that freeze to go off. We're going to pop off with a super art here just to see if he gets frozen to kind of show it off, but he does have a freeze res buff at the moment, so I don't know if he's going to be able to get inflicted by that. We're going to be popping off with the super art again. I think everybody already has the damage buff, but you know, this is just going to make them hit even harder. As you see, crazy deeps from everyone. Unfortunately, I think Veldora is a little bit late to the party there. We are going to pop up with the art here just to make sure that everyone is okay. We're going to use this. We're also going to be able to use Red Nose Doll in a second to really give us a ton of DR. And please, man, I gotta have him at least hit me once where he freezes me as Veldora. He froze me before I could use my super art. Okay, dude. I'm purposely not going to use the true art here because I want to see this freeze happen. Like, we're going to pop with the super art again. Veldora may kill Roy unless he gets frozen right here. If we see the freeze, then you'll be able to see it, but he didn't even do it. God dang it, dude. But one thing you can notice is that in a team comp like that, where we don't really have multiple archgeners, I mean, technically we do because we have Diablo, but we didn't have like traditional archgeners, right? Apart from Chloe. Veldora didn't need to be beside Diablo. He was like, hey, I got my own arch-shin. I'm good. You guys don't have to worry about me. I'll give you guys the damage buff. I'll buff up your attack. I'll make you guys hit stupidly hard. Just keep me alive. And in that saying, you can really throw him on pretty much anything when it comes to the team, as long as the team allows it and the event allows it. There will be times where you'll need maybe a bit more impactful of a unit in that last slot. Also, I'm going to do this again just to try to see if I can get that situation to happen. All right, Veldora is not getting... Okay, look, he's frozen, and look, the super art is still going off, and it was still dealing damage. There we go. That was what I was trying to show you guys this entire time. Even in a status effect that is supposed to stop everything the unit does, it does not stop Veldora. For whatever reason, it just doesn't do it. Which may not seem too useful, but look, like the super art just went off. He's frozen right now, and he's still dealing damage. It makes fights like this like a lot more manageable and a lot easier to be cleared by someone that is using Veldora, because it's like, oh, this unit doesn't even care if he gets frozen, right? Because he's still going to do his damage. Veldora, 23 mil, as usual. He's always going to be hitting hard, man. He's just an insanely good character. This is the nuke team that I have came up with. We are focusing primarily just on buffing up this man Veldora's damage as much as possible, which may seem a little bit weird because we do have Summer Miyu here, and Summer Miyu is kind of the utility unit on this team, just so we can utilize the art gauge she gives on this true art every single stage transition, turn, whatever you want to say, and that definitely helps out in terms of the art for everyone. We'll also put on the details so we can see all the deeps. We just go here, pop, bam. We're gonna let all this stuff go. We may have to actually press some stuff because the auto is a bit funky at times, since I have it set up for us doing like a multi-stage fight. But as you see here, we have everything going. All of our buffs are up, our magic damage, all that, and Veldora is gonna be hitting for, I think this goes up to about 20 something million. No, actually 33 million in that exact instance. And it translates extremely well to actual gameplay. I really wanted to put a luck unit in this nuke team though, like a gray or something, just to have some type of luck bonus. Unfortunately though, I feel like I kind of need the Summer Miyu. I feel like her slots are just a bit better. You see right here, buffing up everybody's damage. We're going to be using the super art on Lisa, and then Veldora, unfortunately, maybe the last character to actually pop over the super art for whatever reason. And there we go. There's Drago Hellbreath, and then we're going to deal crazy amounts of deeps. And yeah, this guy is beyond dead. Human God and Demon Killer. I'm hoping that we're able to get off with the super art on this man Veldora before everyone gets clapped off here. But we'll see in a second. There's the super art with Veldora. If anyone's going to take any damage, Veldora should be perfectly fine with whatever this boss throws. But we're going to be pawning with the super art with Veldora and big boy deeps all the way through 11 million like it's nothing. But yeah, there is Veldora in all of his glory. Overall, a fantastic character that is really solid in a lot of situations. A lot of people are disappointed in Veldora because they are like, this guy's not even broken, he's not even OP. Why did I hype him up for all this time? And if you guys do actually go back and watch any of those videos, you would already know the answer as to why I hyped this character up for so long. Veldora on his own isn't really that crazy. The teammates around him make Veldora extremely potent and a force to be reckoned with. He's a very unique race type, which has huge advantages in various parts of the game. And of course, the biggest strength that Veldora has, and also maybe one of the biggest weaknesses, is that his potential to become better is relatively high. If we get more dragon characters, if we don't get more dragons, then unfortunately, we are probably seeing Veldora at his like max power, unless you're including him on Mono Earth, where he could be substantially better, because a lot of people are sleeping on this. This Earth units will not flinch. This gives you 100% paralysis, 100% freeze res. You combine this with other defense items that do the exact same thing, and bosses are not able to inflict you with those statuses, even if they are reducing your status element resist. We have to see how Veldora evolves by the end of this year. I'm hoping we get a crossover or some unit releases that are dragon characters to really try to push this man a bit further, because I say, hey man, let's go ahead, go all out, make the dragon team a thing, and see what we can do with that, right? Either way though, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all for coming out. If you got Veldora, you should be pretty happy. You got a very solid, well-rounded character that is insanely good DPS wise, can be an extremely good asset to you in mono earth, and has the potential to become even better in the future. Tell me down below what you all think about Veldora. I know a lot of you guys are loving this guy. I've been seeing so many comments about him. I know a lot of you guys are loving Shizu, so it seems like part 2 of Tensura is just a huge dub all around. While you're commenting that though, why don't you also get ready to click on this video right here. This is the summon video for Veldora. I mean, spoiler alert, we got him, but if you want to see how we got him, you can click on that video. Oh, and one more thing before you leave, don't forget to drink water.